Hello YouTube, this is AA Ron here bringing you guys week 4 of the PSBL weekly recap. And today is Thursday, battles are due Sunday, and the reason why I didn't record these like bunch in a row is because my girlfriend was over basically all week. That, and I was also had a little bit of a head cold. Like, I wasn't really sick or I was missing school or anything, but like my voice was really shitty pretty much the entire week. So I thought it would be best if I just waited until today when my girlfriend left and I felt a little bit better. I mean, I can still hear that my voice is still a little meh, and I'm still sniffling. So if you hear me sniffling, I do apologize. If I can get rid of that, I will, but I can't. But anyway, let's get right into the battles as we have Devil's Crime and the Philadelphia Stormies taking on the Rocky Mountain Lycanrocs and Coach Rockhands. Serena, Mega Garchomp, Ariados, Bronzong, Clefable, and Arcanine taking on Hippowdon, Excadrill, Vaporeon, Leavanny, Mega Mawile, and Chandelure. Chris is looking for his first win this season against Rockhands, who I do believe is 2-1, hoping to keep above 500. But it's definitely not the end of the season if he goes to 2-2. Chris just trying to keep his season alive, and let's see how well this goes. As Ariados starts off against Hippowdon. Hippowdon goes for Stealth Rocks, as Ariados goes for Sticky Webs, obviously making that Garchomp even more threatening, as now nothing outspeeds it. As now Toxic Spike is just going to whittle down Chris's team even more. The second layer of Toxic Spikes is really going to mess it up now, as now Scald does take Ariados down to over half, as Leavanny comes out as well. Does get the poison as Leech Life, not able to take out Leavanny, but does get Ariados up to very, very good health. As now Sticky Webs comes out for Leavanny's side, as a Bounce comes out for Ariados, which is very surprising, as Vaporeon decides to come out as well. Very surprising in my opinion, as that could have been a vigorous free switch into Mawile or Excadrill, but a Free Scald comes out. It does not get the burn, however, for the second time, as Ariados now switches out into Serena. Obviously trying to get that rapid spin going. As he switches out into Mawile, I do not agree with that. Should have went for a Chandelure, but goes for a knockoff instead, so I guess it would work out in the end. As now Mawile decides to Mega Evolve, as the rapid spin finally does come out as an Ice Punch, and not able to take out Serena, but it is pretty close as Arcanine comes out now. Goes for a Sucker Punch, not able to do anything. Wouldn't have been able to do anything anyway with this Serena in because of Queenly Majesty. As now Hippowdon comes out, trying to get the Sandstorm up again. Goes for a Crunch, not doing a whole lot because Hippowdon is very bulky. See Toxic Damage starting to come up as Stealth Rocks comes out for Clefable, comes in. Excadrill comes out now, does get the speed lowering as Cosmic Power comes out. Excuse my sniffling. As now Clefable definitely doesn't want to do anything with that. Switches out into Bronzong on the Iron Head. I thought it was Rapid Spin for a second. As now he switches out into Vaporeon on the Bronzong's Earthquake, as Vaporeon does live with very nice health. I really hope this ends soon, as Rocks is here to stay, as it does take out the Serena. Garchomp gets a free switch in, and we'll get the free Mega Evolution, as Vaporeon decides to protect on an Earthquake, which does get Vaporeon up to about full, but with Toxic Damage just bring it down to 75. Ariados comes back out, gets hit with the Stealth Rocks, and dies to a Scald. As now Bronzong is able to come in, he gets hit with a Scald, does not get the burn. Trick gives Vaporeon the Choice Band, as it gives himself the leftovers. Goes for another Scald and not able to take it out, but does in fact get the burn, nullifying the leftovers as the Stealth Rocks do come out. Which they're just missing spikes, or else it'd be full hazards. As Vaporeon finally dies to Toxic Damage, that's another kill for Ariados. As Hippowdon comes out, Hippowdon lives that Earthquake with only 6% damage, and Whirlwind does come out into effect. Arcanine comes out, gets the Stealth Rocks damage, which is not good for Arcanine. Decides to switch back out into Bronzong, gets that 6% again, as the Earthquake is not doing anything to Bronzong because of Levitate. As now burn damage and toxic damage taking apart for both of them. Earthquake only does 7% that time. Another whirlwind back out into Arcanine, which is not what Rocket had from once. Does bring the Arcanine down to 33%. As he switches right back into Bronzong on the slack off from Hippowdon. And I do believe that's all of the moves that was shown on Hippowdon. But anyway, another Earthquake only does 6%, as the toxic damage is really racking up now, as another Whirlwind switch into Arcanine, which after 3 of those does make Arcanine basically useless, as now Arcanine's actually going to go for a Flare Blitz, which is 8 up by Chandelure, forcing the Arcanine to die, or else something was going to take a Shadow Ball, as now Clefable, comes out. Excuse my sniffling again, as now Mega Mawile comes out as well on the Clefable's Shadow Ball. Does do a decent chunk there, and now here comes a Firium Z onto Mega Mawile, which does take it out, which is very surprising there. And now Exegil comes out, which is very, in my opinion, very weird. But apparently Chris made a misclick. He was going to go out and help out on the Clefable's Fire Blast, as it did actually miss. As now that does force Clefable to go for Cosmic Power, as Hippowdon goes for a slack off. I don't know why he started doing Cosmic Powers there, because he knows that he's just going to go for a Whirlwind right there, getting rid of it, and it actually does take out the Bronzong on the switch in. So now it is 3v2 in favor of Chris, as Garchomp comes out, goes for an Earthquake, and Hippowdon not able to kill, but a slack off does bring Hippowdon back up to about 75, but the toxic damage is racking up, as now Chandelure comes out. I do believe the Earthquake again, yep. Taking out the Chandelure, and we're tied to 2 versus 2. Hippowdon comes out again, trying to get to stand up, because the only thing that Chris can do is, not Rocky, let Iron Head flinch everything, and that's exactly what he has to do. Comes back out again, gets a 3% from Stealth Box, goes for an Iron Head. The first one is a flinch, which he just needs one more, and he gets another flinch. Goes for it again, does get another flinch. Oh, excuse me, I spoiled it for you, but does get another flinch, and just because of that, he actually does win. Chris gets his first win of the PSBL Season 3. Congratulations to him and the Philadelphia Starmies. His Rockhands does fall to 2-2. Just that alone took 7 minutes, which is just crazy. As we're going to the next battle, as we have Jake the Cows facing against your Buffalo Buffalons. We have Victini, Mega Sceptile, Conkeldurr, Gardevoir, Thundurus T, and Gyarados taking on Piloswine, Licky, Mega Lopunny, Klefki, Minior, and Mew. Right off the bat, I can see that Conkeldurr and Victini should go through this team, especially because I actually didn't even think about it. There should have been Thick Fat on Piloswine. It was not. It was Oblivious, so I can get up those Stealth Rocks. Excuse me as I fucking hiccup again. But also no switches for Conkeldurr, which does mean should have a field day for Jake the Cows. But on the other hand, he has 0 resist for a return or a high jump kick. Well, actually, 2 resist for a high jump kick, but no resist for a return, which does mean that Mega Lopunny should have a field day. Victini leads off against Klefki, which is a very nice play on his part. I go out into Licky, goes for a Recreate, is able to take massive damage by the Licky. Go for Protect 2 if he wants to do anything. He does go for Recreate again. I thought he was going to go for another Recreate, but instead he goes out into Conkeldurr, as I actually go up for a Wish. As I go basically up to full health, goes for a Drain Punch, not doing a lot because of Chople Berry, go for a counter, only does 66% to the Conkeldurr, switch out into Mew, predicting a Drain Punch or something like that, actually goes for a Mach Punch, as Gardevoir does come out, goes for a Psychic, only does 19%. Switch out into Licky, thinking I can eat a hit. Turns out I was not, it was Specs, so I was not able to take a hit at all, as now Klefki comes out as I go for a Spikes, thinking that I have nothing to go for a Banded Victini. I decide to sack off Klefki and to paralyze it basically. As I switch out into Piloswine, knowing that it does a lot of damage, I decide to go for Stealth Rocks. Not wanting to take a Fighting type move, I go out into Mew on the Conkeldurr's Mach Punch as Gardevoir comes out again. Go for Thunderbolt, thinking that a Gyarados was going to come in. Go for a Roost there, as a Moonblast is able to take it down to 40%, realizing the only thing I can do is Psyche is able to take it out as he goes out into Mega Subtile, basically trying to sack it, but unfortunately, spoiler alert here, he forgot to EV his Mega Subtile, which is very unfortunate, meaning that I was able to live the hit by the Mew, as he goes out into Victini. On my Roost again, basically up to full health, not wanting to go for an Earth Power, thinking that I would be able to live, but he is able to get paralyzed. Unfortunate for him, I do feel sorry for him for that, or else he would have done massive damage to Mew, which means that he probably would have killed with this Thunderbolt's crit right here. But was not able to kill, as my Psychic was not able to kill that. Not wanting to take another Thunderbolt, I decided to switch out in Pillow as now go for an Ice Shard, getting the first kill for Pillow this season, as now Conkeldurr comes out, lives on 3% from the hazards, go for another Ice Shard, is able to take out the Conkeldurr. We're left for 4 versus 3 as he goes out into Gyarados, gets the Intimidator drop, trying to go for the sweep as he Dragon Dances. Icicle Crash does take it down to 40%. Go for another Ice Shard, try to get as much damage as he decides to go for another Dragon Dance, as we see a Waterfall, which actually I'm going to bring down to here. Does in fact kill him with Pillow Swine after I get 2 Ice Shards and an Icicle Crash up. If this would have been a completely different game in my opinion. If he were able to just go for 1 Dragon Dance, I do believe he would have killed from that range with just 1. That means I would have had to go to my Mega Lopunny, fake out, I just would have only done 30%, and I think it would have been able to, actually no, about 20 to 25 I do believe, live that, then I would basically have to sack Mew. So instead of a 3-0 victory, which spoiler alert, I do get a 3-0 victory, it is now instead of a 2-0 victory, it could have been, if you just went for 1 Dragon Dance, it is now a 3-0 victory. As I go out and Mega Lopunny, gets his first kill of the season, which I'm very proud of. Gets rid of the Gyarados, and now he goes out into Mega Sceptile, goes down to 50% from the hazards, as now Ice Punch is able to kill the Mega Sceptile. I do feel bad for Jake the Cows, he would have been able to outspeed, but he forgot the EVs, which is very unfortunate for him. Both of us, I am 2-2, he is now 1-3, but still not out of the season yet, this is only week 4. As now we're going to go for the Pokemaster Mike versus the Pokemaster Mike and the New York Metagross taking on your Roderick and the Anaheim Arcanine. We have Donphan, Jirachi, Dragonite, Jolteon, Zervine, and Mega Houndoom taking on Oregon 2, Drampa, Sneasel, Latios, Seismitoad, and Tapu Koko. Physical Tapu Koko with like Brave Bird should be able to do a lot of damage. Mixed would be great, like Brave Bird and like Grass Knot and Dazzling would be perfect. But the other way around, I do believe that Zervine should be able to wall a lot of the team, especially if he's able to get a couple Leaf Storm contrary boost. Sorry, I'm still trying to get over this cold, but almost there. Sneasel goes one-on-one against Donphan. Sneasel not wanting to take this superpower, does rightfully switch out into Seismitoad on the Rocky Helmet. Goes for a Seed Bomb. If it was not minus attack, it would have killed from that range. Goes for a knockoff. Still see it as actually his ultimate best. As Mike decides to get rid of the Seismitoad on the knockoff, as Rocky Helmet does do a lot of damage. Goes for an Ice Shard on the Mega Houndoom switching. Decides to switch out into Porygon 2 on the Houndoom's Toxic. Not realizing what the Porygon 2s want to do, he decides to switch out into Surlyline, taking any hit that he wants. He decides to go out for Thunder Wave, which could be very handy coming down the road. As now Coco decides to switch in on the Leaf Storm, eats it decently well in my opinion. Goes for a U-turn, eats that up very nicely, goes right back out into Porygon 2 on the second Leaf Storm, only does 27%. As now these both are just about half, actually the same percentage, until that toxic damage starts to whittle it down a little bit. As now 2 paralyzes in a row, as Porygon is just going to sack himself, trying to get as much damage on the Turbine as he can, trying to get that third paralysis in a row, but Synthesis does come out, and that means Black Widow is able to come out, goes for an Ice Cold Crush, and is able to take out the Turbine, as Jirachi does get a free switch in. Goes out into Tapu Koko on the Iron Head, which is able to get it under 5%, as Donphan is able to take the U-turn, as goes right back out into Sneasel again, goes for an Ice Shard, just trying to get as much damage as he can, as the knockoff is able to take out the Donphan, and that means Houndoom is able to take out the Koko with a toxic damage, as Black Widow comes back out, not able to outspeed, it was actually Speed Die, and Mega Houndoom is able to take out the Sneasel as Latias comes up. Houndoom goes for a Sucker Punch on the Dragon Dance by Latias. The second Sucker Punch is able to take the Latias down to 60%, as Houndoom does go down to an Earthquake. Dragonite is able to come out. It is banded with E-Speed, so it's able to take out the Latias. And here's a little bit of a stally situation here, as now Droppa comes out, goes for a Columbine on the Jolteon switch in. Goes for a Volt Switch, as Droppa only takes 10% from that. Goes out into Jirachi now, as Columbine goes again. Goes for Body Slam, not able to do anything but just get the paralysis, as Hyper Voice actually does a whole shit ton, as it does take about 40%. Another Body Slam is able to take the Drampa down to its Citrus Berry, as a rest does come out. Goes for a Body Slam again, just doing about 20% each time, as Sleep Talk does turn into rest yet again, as this just goes on for a couple turns now. Goes for another rest. Another Body Slam does take it out to 40%, does get the Berserk, however, as the rest does get up to full again, as Jolteon decides to come out now. As another rest comes out for Sleep Talk, which is very unfortunate. Hidden Power, I do believe, Fire, I don't know what Hidden Power that was, but it was not very effective, as Hyper Voice finally makes its come up bits, as Dragon Claw is able to take out the Drop, and your project in the Anaheim Arcanines go up to 2-2 after this 2-0 victory. About 17 minutes into this, and we're only into the fourth battle, I do believe, as my boy, Pokey Ranger Cody, and his All-Out Heracross are taking on Charizard and the Indianapolis Infernape, as we have Heatran, Mega Manectric, Manaphy, Salamence, Ludicolo, and Metagross taking on Terrakion, Mega Greninja, Astro Ninja, Togekiss, Silvally, I don't remember what Silvally was, Latias, and Gligar. Let's get right into this as Togekiss leads off against Metagross. Not liking that matchup, he decides to go right out into Gligar out the Bullet Punch, only does 7%, but a Stealth Rock comes out as the Earthquake, not doing much because of the Sugar Berry. As I have hiccups, switches out into Salamence, trying and predicting another Earthquake, as Stealth Rock decides to come out instead. Goes for a Dragon Dance on the Baton Pass. Goes out into Silvally, I do believe it's water, it is water. Goes for an Earthquake, not able to kill, I don't know why I went for Earthquake instead of a Dragon type move, but Silvally is able to take him out. Goes right out into Metagross. Thunderbolt not killing, but an Earthquake is. So now Gligar is able to come out. Goes for a Bullet Punch, not able to do a whole lot, as Earthquake is not able to take out the Metagross either. Another Bullet Punch only does another 10%, as Metagross, it does die to an Earthquake, and we're sitting at 5 versus 4. So now Mega Manectric comes out, Mega Evolves, and goes for a Hidden Power Ice. Does able to kill the Gligar, and that does mean that Terrakion is able to switch in. Goes for a Volt Switch, showing that it is not Scarf, but could be banded, as the Earthquake comes out. Not able to do a whole lot to Ludicolo, but the close combat is able to take him out as well, which means that Mega Manectric is able to come out again, gets the Intimidate, switches out into Latias on the Volt Switch, not able to do a whole lot. Now Heatran is able to come out now, and Heatran goes for a Flash Cannon, not able to take Latias on, but he does go for a Healing Wish out into Terrakion now, and that is very scary indeed. Goes for a Flash Cannon, is able to kill Heatran, sitting up on top, and now just in 2 turns, it is now 3-2. Physical Waterfall is not able to kill Heatran, switches out into Manectric, trying to get that Tech Drop. As Waterfall is able to take the Manectric down to 30%, goes for a Volt Switch, is able to take out the Greninja. as he switches back out into Heatran, getting that Rocks damage as Togekiss comes out. It does take the Rocks damage as well. Flash Cannon not able to take out Togekiss, goes for a Roost, trying to get back up to as much damage as health as he can. And another Roost takes it down to even less. Another Flash Cannon not able to take it out as Air Slash is able to take out the Heatran. That means a free switch out into Manaphy, goes for an Ice Beam, and is able to take out the Togekiss. So 2 wins in a row, starting 0-2. Cody is now 2-2. Same with Pellington, Polydose, gosh. The Indianapolis Infernape, he's down to 2-2 as well. Excuse me, now I need to get more water for my drying mouth. Just ignore the sounds. Just ignore the sounds. This is just me talking to you. Just me talking to you guys. That's much better. As we have Kid Icarus and the coach of the Glorious Gliscors taking on Hoobie and the Kansas City Kartanas. Tornadus Gliscor, Tyranitar, Besprit, Kyurem Black, and Lucario taking on Kartana, Gyarados, Xurkitree, Rotom Frost, Heracross, and Marowak. Sorry, I need more to drink. Looking at the matchup, I do believe Gyarados has a great matchup, especially with Ice Fang for these 3, Crunch for this one, Waterfall, and then just whatever moves. These last two don't really have that much defense. But on the other hand, Kyurem Black with Ice Beam should be able to put in a lot of work, but let's see where this goes. Rotom Frost goes one-on-one against Tornadus. Not saying that he's a good matchup, he decides to go out into Lucario. Eats that hit pretty nicely as he switches out into Heracross on the close combat, not eating it very nicely. Does in fact do about half, as we see that it is Life Orb. Goes for a close combat, is able to take out the Lucario, showing that it is probably Scarfed Heracross. It does get the Moxie boost. Free switching into Tornadus as he switches out into Rotom, predicting, I do believe, a Flying type move, but instead it was a Heat Wave. Hoping that it is not Scarf, decides to go out into Gyarados on the Heat Wave again. Luckily, it's not a physical Tornadus, or else he would get the Defiant boost into +1. As he switches out into Mesprit, as Gyarados does Mega Evolve and goes for a Dragon Dance. And with this, a Crunch is not able to kill, but does do massive damage anyway, as Dazzling Gleam does take Gyarados down to great damage. Goes for another Crunch, is able to take out the Mesprit, but not without getting down to about 15%. As now, Kyurem goes for an Ice Beam, is able to take out the Gyarados now. And you see, switches out into Xurkitree, goes for an Ice Beam, as Xurkitree is able to go for the Z Hypnosis, not able to get the speed, but no, not able to get the Hypnosis, but does get the speed. But we see that it is in fact Scarf Kyurem with Ice Beam, able to take him out as Kartana is able to come out, goes for a knockoff, does get rid of Toxic Orb on Gliscor, and now he switches out into Heracross on the Earthquake, not able to do a whole lot, as Stone Edge is able to do a lot because of a crit, but does go for a roost. Another Stone Edge does do a lot to Gliscor again, as a U-turn does switch back out into Tornadus, stacking off the Heracross on the Heat Wave again. As Marowak does come out, goes back out into Gliscor as a double out into Rotom does in fact happen, as now that forces Gligar to switch out into Gliscor into Tyranitar on this plane split. Nice job there by Hoobie. As now a Pursuit comes out, very nice play by Kid Icarus. As now Marowak comes out, not wanting to take any hit, goes out into Kyurem on the knockoff, which does get rid of the Choice Scarf by Kyurem. But I do believe that does not really mean anything, as he goes out into Rotom on the Ice Beam. Does get, in fact, another kill for Kyurem. I do believe that's 3 so far out of, I do believe he does get 4 out of the day, as Gliscor does come out again on the Smart Strike. Does able to take out the Gliscor with a crit. Is now Tornadus comes out, goes for a Heat Wave. I do believe that means that it is double Scarfed. I could be wrong, I'm not sure. But Marowak does come out, another Heat Wave. Not able to burn, but the Thunder Punch is able to kill the Thunder Tornadus. As now Kyurem comes out, goes for another Ice Beam, and is able to take out the Marowak. And now both teams are 2-2 as well after just 4 weeks. Good job by Kid Icarus. As now we're to the final battle as far as Thursday morning. We have Sir Hawthorne and the San Francisco Royals trying to get their first win against the, I do believe, hot Winner 64 and the Charlotte Beatrice. We have Hundale, Rabambi, Gudra, Mega Pincer, Blissey, and Slowking taking on Glisopod, Mega Aggron, Alakazam, Florges, Shiinotic, and the Zoroark. I just really want to finish this, so let's just get started with this battle and try to get it done as fast as we can. As Shiinotic takes on against Blissey. Spore and Stealthrox go between each other as Blissey switches out into Gudra, which is surprised he did not run Sap Super Gudra in my opinion. As Leech Seed comes out, switches out into Huntail on another Spore, forces switch out into Gudra again on another Leech Seed, bringing Gudra down to about 75%, as now Mega Pinsir comes out with not Mega, as I do believe that is a hit of our Ice, as Gudra's Widget goes for Calm Mind. Thunderbolt's not able to do a whole lot because of the Calm Mind. Forces a switch out into Blissey on another Calm Mind, which is very scary. Goes for a Psy Shock, not able to take out the Blissey, but does massive damage. And Red Card actually does come out on a Seismic Toss to Mega Aggron. Mega Aggron does, in fact, Mega Evolve, goes for Dragon Tail, is able to take out the Blissey, as Gudra comes in trying to get this Wish recovery back, but a Dragon Tail does switch out the Gudra, so he doesn't get any of that recovery, as Rabambi does go for a Sticky Webs on a Stealth Rock, as Aggron is now going to go for a rest on the U-turn back out into Gudra, as Aggron goes out into Florges now on the Flamethrower by Gudra, not able to do a whole lot. But now Sludge Bomb is able to take Florges down to about 50%, but Aromatherapy does wake up Aggron now. Another Flamethrower does go to about half for Florges, as he is now up to full with a Synthesis, as Sludge Bomb is not able to poison still, but is still super effective on a Calm Mind, which is very scary. Goes for another Sludge Bomb, trying to get the poison, and it does in fact get the poison on another Calm Mind, as I do believe that the last move is probably Moonblast, as Pinsir does come out, does get the Stealth Rocks damage, is the only time he can, goes for the Mega Evolution, trying to get the kill with a return, not able to do it, as the Moonblast does in fact take out Pinsir, as now we have Huntail come out, needs to try to wake up in the next 2 turns, but Synthesis comes out, as he does go down to about 60%, still asleep, as the Moonblast is able to take out the Huntail, which is very unfortunate. Now we're sitting at 6v3, and now Gudra does die to the Stealth Rock, as Slowking comes out, as Aromatherapy is able to heal it, goes for a Side Shot, not able to kill, and that means the Synthesis comes out on the Yawn, and with that, I do believe, yep, the winner 64 does in fact forfeit, which means that Florges does get the last 2 kills. Very stally team for Florges, which, Tyler, if you're listening to this, you deserve that for bringing Blissey anti-null from last week. Congratulations to Sir Hawthorne for getting his first win of the season, and I do believe that makes Tyler and the Charlotte Beatrice 2-2, so you guys will see what's next coming up. Alright, so today is Saturday, day before the battles are due, but I do believe that this battle happened on Thursday or Friday. I don't remember. I just wasn't able to get to it until today, and we have Coach of Ninetales, taking on Dragon Rider, coach of the Illinois Illusions, and he basically brought the same thing as he did last week, other than Toucannon over this Salazzle, and I did have a brain fart there. But anyway, we have Exploud, Mega Slowbro, Registeel, Infernape, Superior, Slurpuff, Cresselia, Slurpuff versus Cresselia, Salazzle, Tapu Bulu, Gengar, Umbreon, and Mega Steelix. He's got that damn core of Bulu and Mega Steelix, and even Gengar and Salazzle. Get rid of Bulu and you're weak to ground there, Bryce. But also that defensive core of Cress and Umbria and Steelix. It is a hard combination to get through, but I do believe he did make a mistake of bringing Grassy Terrain against a Superior. That is a no-no. I don't care how defensive your core is. But Salazzle decides to go off against Slurpuff. Slurpuff decides to switch out into Slowbro, taking an Overheat. If I were Ninetales, I would have switched right there to get that Regenerator back, but instead he decides to Scald on the Umbreon switching. He probably does have Slack off, which is fine, but why risk it? Slurpuff decides to come out into a Wish from Umbreon, decides to switch out into Gengar on the Sticky Webs. Slurpuff then decides to switch out into Registeel on the Sludge Wave. Eats it up very nicely, obviously, as Salazzle does come out and to the Stealth Rocks. Decides to switch out into Exploud on the Overheat, is able to kill the Exploud because of a crit. I don't know if that actually matters, but now Infernape does get the free switch in, as Cresselia decides to come in as well, as Infernape decides to Nasty Plot, goes for Flamethrower, thinking it was going to do a little bit more, but was not able to kill the Cresselia, as the Thunder Wave does hit the Infernape. Moonlight does come out from the Cresselia, predicting a switch, but a Flamethrower does come out instead, bringing it back up to down to 26%, as now Infernape decides to Nasty Plot again, predicting another Moonlight, allowing Cresselia to get another kill. Slurpuff decides to Belly Drum now, gets the Citrus Berry up to 75% as the Thunder Wave does come out again. Nice job there by Bryce, but Slurpuff is still faster because of Unburden. Gengar is now able to come out, will be able to outspeed the Slurpuff, and seeing that it is paralyzed, Ninetales decided there wasn't enough for him to do, as now Registeel does come out to try to avenge the Slurpuff, as Salazzle comes out, eats up a Seismic Toss, goes for an Overheat, not able to kill, lives on 3%, as the Registeel then goes for a Rest, up to full health, and Salazzle decides to switch out into Tapu Bulu. I don't know what he was predicting there, as the Registeel decides to go for, oh, not Sleep Talk, I thought it was Sleep Talk, but Focus Punch comes out for Tapu Bulu. Great prep by there for Bryce, taking out Registeel, and we're sitting at 5 versus 2, looking for a sweep, as now Umbreon decides to come in, as Superior goes for a Hidden Power. I do believe that was Fire, maybe even Ice. I do not know for certain, but a Leaf Storm does come out. It does 42 to the Umbreon, which is great damage there. As now Umbreon decides to stay in and dies to a Leaf Storm. Not a play there by Bryce, in my opinion. Gengar does come out, and Gengar will not be able to outspeed Superior because of the Sticky Webs, as Dragon Pulse is able to take it out, but the Disable comes out, as Tapu Bulu comes out again. Sitting at ×3 special attack, goes for a Hidden Power. I do believe Fire does take out the Tapu Bulu, as now Salazzle comes in, and it looks like it will be able to sweep, but misses the Leaf Storm, unfortunately, as Overheat is able to take out the Superior, but that means that it is a Salazzle and Mega Steelix taking on a Mega Slowbro, as Mega Slowbro is able to take out Salazzle with a Scald, and will still get 3 turns of Grassy Terrain recovery, taking on a Mega Steelix, which I do not think can do anything to this Mega Slowbro unless it has Toxic, but it doesn't matter because Rest does come out by the Slowbro, as Earthquake in the Grassy Terrain is only doing 8% to the Slowbro. We actually see Sleep Talk on this Slowbro, so we have Rest, Sleep Talk, Scald, and Toxic on the Slowbro, which obviously, as we see, is not doing anything at the moment. The only thing that can hit is a Scald, which he does go for there. Does not able to get does get the burn, excuse me, which means that the next Scald will be able to take out the Steelix. Great prep by Ninetales' part, so that only one Mon could basically take out the entire team of Bryce. Bryce played very well. He's been playing very well this season. And he might actually make playoffs this year, but we'll definitely see. This is only week 4. But we'll see where this goes from here. We'll see you guys in 1 second for the next. Alright guys, so today is Saturday night. We had 2 battles today. One of them was with Tentacools versus Mandy the Turtle and the Kingsville Goodras. The other one is Lucy Goosey and the Edmonton Coilers taking on it's Byron and the Pittsburgh Reggie Steelers. Nothing really to say about these matches. They're good. I mean, not 5-star quality, excuse me, but they're still very fun to watch and everything, so I hope you guys enjoy them too. We have Como, Camo, Simo, Alarmo, Ferrothorn, Tapu Bulu, Meloetta, Mega Alakazam, and Crocodile taking on Comfey, Fortress, Volcanion, Raichu, Beedrill, Mega Beedrill, excuse me, and Lando T. I can see that Volcanion should be doing a lot of damage, and actually, so is Comfey. 4 times effective against that. Does get resisted by that, but if it brings HP Fire, which I could see coming, it's going to destroy that too. I even think it gets Kick a Drain, so that's there. Meloetta does Wallet. I don't really see what a Mega Alakazam could do to it, and it does do a lot of damage to a Crocodile, so Comfey actually could put in offensive pressure this match, which would be a sight to see, that's for sure. But vice versa, I do believe that Mega Alakazam is the key of winning for Mandy. It does do a lot of work. Nothing really likes to take a Psychic on the team. Only one resist, and Hidden Power Fire on Mega Alakazam could definitely come in. But let's see where this battle goes to. We have Ferrothorn going one-on-one against Volcanion. Definitely not a good matchup for Mandy, so she gets out of there into I do believe, Assault Vested Meloetta, because that was a Specs Volcanion. Goes for Psyshock on the Thunder, Fortress switching. Focus Blast only does 48, but allowing the Fortress to get its Stealth Rocks up, and he switches out into Ferrothorn, as there's also another switch into Raichu. Raichu decides to switch into Volcanion, fearing a Focus Blast. Alright, Fortress goes out in Meloetta, goes for a U-turn on the Volcanion as he switches out into Tapu Bulu on the Steam Eruption. Does do really good damage on the Tapu Bulu. Like a lot of damage. Nature Madness does come out, does hit the Raichu, does actually have Citrus Berry, which does bring it back up to about 75%, forcing the Finny to switch out into Meloetta on the Raichu's Wish as he goes right out into Fortress, eating the Psyshock and getting that Wish up all in one turn. As I can finally take a breath in, switches out into Crocodile on the Gyro Ball from Fortress, does do pretty good chunk of damage to Crocodile. Switches out into Landers, fearing the Fire Fang, which does in fact come out. Obviously not going to do a whole lot with that Intimidate. Switches out into Tapu Fini on the Z-Fly from Landers, does kill the Tapu Fini, getting rid of one of the defensive mons on Mandy's team. Switches out into Ferrothorn on the Swords Dance, goes for Stealth Rocks, as the Earthquake does not able to kill, but does do a lot of damage, as a Gyro Ball does do just as much. And this play I do not agree with. I don't know why he went for Fly. Because he went for Flying, he does take Rocky Helmet and Iron Barb's damage, which leaves him at 1%. Doesn't really mean, that just mean that he cannot switch out and come back in later. That means he does have to sack his Landers, which his Landers could have done something later on in the road. But anyway, he goes out into Fortress, dies to a Hidden Power Fire from Mega Alakazam, as I said earlier, as Volcanion decides to come in, does live a Psychic, and does kill the Alakazam with a Steam Eruption. Meloetta now does come out, does kill the Volcanion with Psyshock. He was forced to sack it because of the Rock Skin. As Mega Beedrill does come out, he is 100% faster. There is no switch-ins for an adaptability U-turn, and then switches out into Comfey, which will be able to 1v2 these last 2 mons. The Crocodile, which does actually live the Draining Kiss, but is not able to do anything to the Comfey after that. With leftovers and Draining Kiss, he does go back up to about 75% health, as Como does come in. Is actually able to live a Draining Kiss at 23, but Comfey is able to stay at healthy, and I do agree with Mandy's play. The only way she would have been able to win is with a Dragon Dance up in that one, even though that Draining Kiss is priority for Comfey. But good game. Congratulations to Big Tucker. He is now 1-3. His first win of the PSBL Season 3. Mandy does go down 2 in a row, unfortunately, and 2 matchups are very difficult in Ninetales and, gosh, what's his face? Hoopy, that's coming up next for him. As we move on to the third to last match of the week, with only 24 hours left to go, we have the Edmonton Coilers, Tangrowth, Cephalon, Azumarill, Alomola, Camerupt, and Reuniclus taking on the Pittsburgh Red Steelers in Mega Altaria, Zeraora, Tornadus T, Sharpedo, Miltank, and Delmise. Excuse me, as I am still shiny hunting for that shiny Litten, and that I am still not getting. Screw you, Lucy. Anyhow, Lucy is still undefeated in this. He's 3-0, and maybe sometime that Byron is able to take him out. Who knows? But Byron is kind of up and down season right now. He lost his first one, won a second, lost his third. Is this going to be one for him as well? I do believe that Zeraora actually does put in a lot of work, especially with Azumarill right there, Hidden Power, Ice, or Fire, whatever, on the lackluster of a special defense on Tangrowth, and then just fill her in with everything else basically. But Zeraora, I do believe, does sweep this team with the right setup. But let's see where this goes as Tornadus comes out against Azumarill. Immediately goes for the Supersonic Sky Strike. Does not kill the Azumarill, but the Azumarill's knockoff's not going to do anything, obviously. Aqua Jet is able to crit on the U-turn from Tornadus, which it is regenerator, so that crit didn't really matter in the long run. But Altaria is able to go for a return and take off the most offensive threat that Lucy had. Reuniclus comes out, gets rid of the Altaria, as Delmise comes out, switches out into Tangrowth on the Shadow Claw, as another Shadow Claw comes out on the Tangrowth's Toxic, which will whittle down the Delmise down the road. Shadow Claw is still just critting away at the Tangrowth, as that was the second crit in a row. Switches out into Tornadus as another Toxic comes out. Great move there by Lucy. I don't know if you predicted that or what, but it's a very nice play as he goes out into Reuniclus. Does eat that Hurricane very nicely as a taunt comes out, stopping the Reuniclus from going for a recover. Excuse me, as a U-turn does come out, only does about 20%, as he switches out into Sharpedo, predicting the Psychic as it does come out. Nice prediction there by Byron as he switches out into Tangrowth. Tangrowth does come out and is able to eat a Super Fang and a Crunch both, as a Giga Drain is able to take out the Mega Sharpedo and basically brings the bush up to full almost, as Alomola does eat a Hurricane on the switch in. Does get confused, however, but I don't think that really bothers him too much, as a U-turn does come out, probably predicting a Wish coming out, as Alomola does in fact go for Wish. Switches out fearing the Zeraora, as a Grass Knot does massive damage to the Mega Camerupt. Goes out into his Miltank, eating that very nicely because of Thick Fat, and switches back out into Ambush the Tangrowth, as Stealthrox does come out and will whittle down Lucy's team eventually, even with 2 Regenerator mods. As a knockoff comes out, obviously he's still not doing anything to Tornadus because he already used his item. Alomola comes out, eats that U-turn very nicely as Zeraora comes out again. This time goes for a Thunderbolt, as we can see that does critical hit again. I do believe that's the third one against Tangrowth, like today, which is very unfortunate. It does get the Regenerator back. Goes for a Will-O-Wisp. Excuse that, as somebody did message me. I don't know if you see that, but there's a little message on the corner. Excuse me. I'll pause it for a second. That really messed me up. Miltank comes in on a Will-O-Wisp, switches out into Reuniclus to eat that Earthquake up very, very nicely. Switches out into Delmise on the Psychic. Eats it pretty nicely. I don't know if that's Assault Vested Delmise or what, but it does eat it very nicely. Switches out into Tangrowth, eats that Shadow Claw very nicely, and it will be able to switch out as Zeraora comes out on the Synthesis, excuse me. Goes for a Hidden Power Ice, not able to kill, but does leave it at 4. Giga Drain is not doing enough at all, and forces to switch out into Alomola on another Hidden Power. I want to say it's Fire, but it could be Ice, I'm not entirely sure. But that does force a switch out into Tornadus. Eats that Scald very nicely. Toxic damage is not going to be mattering too much, as another Wish tries to come up, but a Taunt is obviously not able to do that. Goes for a U-turn, switches out into Zeraora, risking the burn, but I don't think it really matters because it is fully specially attacking and not physically. Switches out into Tangrowth again. This time it still lives because of a grass knot, but decides to stay in this time and dies to the grass knot again. That brings in Rheoniclus as Tornadus comes out again, as a Calm Mind does in fact come out. Tornado goes for Dawn, so he can't Calm Mind again, but Lucy saw that coming and goes for his Psychic. Living on only 12% after toxic damage, goes for Dark Pulse, trying to flinch it, but it's not able to, and Tornadus finally goes down the defensive Mon. And now, Altaria does come out and decides to go for a Dragon Dance on the switch into Alamola. Goes for another Dragon Dance as a Toxic does come out on the Altaria. As now it's trying to whittle him down, goes for a pack, try to get as much toxic damage because Altaria could be able to sweep very easily after this. Goes for a return and is able to crit. I do believe that crit mattered tremendously. As Blacephalon does come out, Scarf Blacephalon did outspeed. That's why Byron did switch into a Shadow Ball. I don't know if he predicted the Shadow Ball or what, but he obviously was immune to that. Switch out make me think that it was Intellect Scarf, as a Rheoniclus eats that very, very nicely. Decides to go out into Dalamise again on the recover from Rheoniclus. Obviously doesn't want to take a Shadow Claw, so he switches out into Pompeii, the Mega Camerupt, and does in fact die to an Earthquake from Dalamise, as Dalamise does die from toxic damage from Tangrowth earlier. As Zeraora comes out, goes for Thunderbolt, is able to crit on the Calm Mind, unfortunately for Lucy. As now Zeraora does pick up the second kill of the season, and it is 1v3 for Lucy. Should be able to kill it if he gets lucky enough. Psyshock is able to kill the Zeraora, goes out into the defensive Mon known as Miltank, does eat the first Psyshock very well, goes for an Earthquake, not able to kill. A crit will be able to kill the Miltank, but is not able to do it at all. Earthquake is able to pick up the kill against Blacephalon, and that means Loosey Goosey finally loses his first match of the PSBL Season 3 to its Byron and the Pittsburgh Rich Steelers, who are now 2-2. 2 more battles should be coming up, hopefully, and this video should be coming out. Thank you guys for watching. Have a good one. Oh, actually, not yet. Not yet. Just because I'm pressing stop does not mean that the actual video is over. Need to remember that. Thank you guys for. And I'm back, and today is Monday, and my recording schedule is all sorts of fucked up. Gosh, like, the week ended yesterday, I did my week 5 battle, and not really a spoiler alert, but, like, I just did not want to record after that at all, so I postponed it till tonight, the day after, and, like, I still don't want to, but, like, I feel like I need to. So I still need to do 2 more battles and then go over this, which actually I want to go to the standings for at the end. There we are. That should be all good. But right now we have Gamer Geeko, coach of the Reading Rapidashes, taking on Peanut Butter Nakora, and the coach of the Uprising Flygons. We have Mega Gardevoir, Scolipede, Empoleon, Shaman, Celesteela, Electivire taking on Alolan Sandslash, Rhyperior, Sock, Staraptor, Raikou, and Mega Sableye. Can Nakora keep the winning streak alive? Right now he is 3-0. While Gamer Geeko is 1-2. Can he get back to even for the first time since, well, before week 1? I do believe that Rhyperior could put in a lot of work. I do know that it is weakness policy set. If he has the rock polish set, he could put in a lot of work, especially with Mega Horn, a rock move, and Earthquake. Vice versa, I do believe that Gardevoir does put in a lot of work. I know it has Energy Ball too, and I don't really see a good Hyper Voice switch in other than Alolan Sandslash, which obviously does not really fare well against the Gardevoir in my opinion, especially with Focus Blast out there. Let's get right into it. We have Gardevoir going up off against Sock. Fearing the sturdy poison jab, he switches out into Celesteela as Sock switches out into Sandslash, knocks off the leftovers from Celesteela. We see it's actually a defensive Celesteela against a Mega Sableye, which is very weird in my opinion. Raikou comes in on a heavy slam, forces a switch out into Electivire on a Thunderbolt, which does boost the speed of Electivire. Switches out into Rhyperior on an Earthquake, only does about 36%. We see that it is defensive. With weakness policy, decides to switch off into Celesteela on the Stealth Rocks, goes for Leech Seeds, does in fact miss, which is very unfortunate. Stone Edge is able to kill from that range, which is very powerful. Gardevoir does get a free switch in, and seeing that it was not Rock Polish, does die to an Energy Ball and does get outsped by Gardevoir. That's a free switching out into Raikou, goes out into Electivire again, and he actually does not learn from the same mistake. He goes for a Thunderbolt again, does boost up the speed again, as Star Raptor does in fact come in. Does not eat that Ice Punch up very well, goes out into Sock, does eat it a little bit better, but does not live a wild charge, as now that does bring in Raikou. Raikou decides to go for an extra sentry, trying to get the flinch, trying to get something, but was not able to do it and dies to an Earthquake. And now he finally decides to bring in Mega Sableye, which could have taken a lot more hits before. Volt Switch crit only does 24%, switches out right out into Gardevoir on the Will-O-Wisp, which obviously doesn't really matter because it is a special defender. Goes for Protect, trying to get as much burn damage as we can. Only 6% per turn though, which is very unfortunate. Forced to switch out into Greaser, the Alolan Sandslash, as it does lose 44%, not a switch in at all. Another Hyper Voice is able to take out the Sandslash, but that does mean that it is a free switch out into Staraptor. Switches out into Empoleon, as a Brave Bird does only do 30%, leaving Staraptor at 3% after Recoil and Leftover Life Orb. Close Combat is able to kill the Empoleon, but also does take out the Staraptor itself. And that means Mega Sableye comes out as well as Gardevoir. Does take rock damage and will get another burn damage. That's the only, I do agree with that play. The only way that Gamer Geeko could have won is just to stall out, but was not able to do it. Hyper Voice is able to kill, and Nakora stays undefeated. Next up, we have Kowasabi taking on GV Center. We have the Salt Lake Spindas taking on the Dallas Dragons. Yon Mega Charizard X, Espeon, Hitmonlee again, Ditto, and Chansey taking on Alolan Ninetales, Muck, Alolan Muck, Ambipom, Pyukumuku, Mega Ampharos making its debut, and Hawlucha. Very interesting to see Hitmonlee again in this. I don't think there's been a week he has not brought it. Same with Charizard. So it looks like Rocks should be putting in a lot of work for GV Center. But I also do believe that, honestly, I don't really see what Kowasabi can do. Maybe Charizard does put in a lot of damage, especially with Earthquake and everything. That's probably what it is. But then again, it gets walled by Pyukumuku, so they need to get a way to get rid of Pyukumuku. As Yanmega does go one-on-one against Ambipom, Hitmonlee does come out, does not take the fake out at all. Life Orb fake out does a lot of damage. High Jump Kick does almost over 53 to it, but Rocky Helmet does bring Hitmonlee down as he switches out into Espeon. I don't know why I didn't go over the High Jump Kick again, but Muck does come out, goes for a knockoff, does get rid of Hitmonlee's Choice Scarf, which it was nice to see a different set of Hitmonlee. Charizard does come out, switches out into Pyukumuku on the Charizard, goes for a Dragon Dance. Dragon Claw is not able to kill him, he does 39%. Recover does do a lot more for Pyukumuku. Switches out into Ditto on the Pyukumuku as another Recover comes out. Pyukumuku decides to switch out into Muck, as the Toxic does seem pretty obvious. Goes for Pursuit, does in fact get the Poison as he switches out into Chansey. Very weird in my opinion, as Stealth Rocks does come out, gets rid of the Highlight on Chansey, which is why it was weird in my opinion, as Poison Jab does bring the Chansey down to about 64% and gets the Poison. Goes for a Seismic Toss, as it's not doing a whole lot, as Pursuit does come out, taking the Chansey down to 20% health. Switches out into Alolan Ninetales as the Soft Boil does come out for Chansey. You can see that it is not snow warning, which is very weird. It goes out into Ambipom on the switch out into Ditto this time. It is Choice Scarf, so it forces Ambipom to switch out into Pyukumuku again, as we see the fake out not doing a whole lot at all, forcing the Ditto to switch again, which is, in my opinion, I don't know why he went for a fake out there. Baton pass into Muck. As he does go for Pursuit, does take the Espeon down to the Sash, but unfortunately also poison it, so the next time it comes out, it's not going to be able to do anything. Yanmega comes out, gets the Protect. I don't know why. It was already faster anyway. But anyway, an Air Slash, not able to do a whole lot. It is especially defensive, but it does actually get the flinch, as it forces Muck to switch out into Ampharos, which is able to wall the Yanmega very nicely. Takes that Air Slash decently well, 25%. Mega evolves, and then, well, it's going to go for Thunderbolt on the Protect, seeing what he's going to do to the GV Center. Switches out into Chansey, knowing he can take a Thunderbolt, and he does. Not very well, though. Goes for a Toxic before a Thunderbolt is able to take out Chansey, and now we're sitting at 6v4. Ditto does come out and does get the Mega Ampharos as he switches out into Alolan Ninetales on the Power Gem, which does in fact take out the Alolan Ninetales. But Ditto is now at 18% because of poison, as now Hawlucha comes in, goes for a substitute on the Power Gem, is able to break the sub, but then another substitute does get the Citrus Berry intact, as a Power Gem is able to break the sub again, as Ditto does die to poison. Yanmega is now able to come in, goes for an Air Slash, is able to take it out. Not really a good play by GV Center because the Unburden does go for the Acrobatics though. Luckily he didn't go for a Protect there, as Charizard comes in, eats up the Drain Punch pretty nicely, goes for a Dragon Claw, and is able to take out Hawlucha with with a crit Dragon Claw. Goes for a Dragon Dance again, not really the best play in my opinion. You can't really set up on a Pyukumuku. Goes for a Toxic, does in fact get the Magic Bounce, which is a very nice play in Kowasabi's. I do like that play that you made, Kowasabi. Goes for a Roost on the Pyukumuku's Toxic, and Pyukumuku will be able to stall out Mega Charizard X. I don't remember how long this goes, but actually, I do believe that it does end in the next couple turns, because Ambipom does come out. Life Orb Ambipom with Fake Out does do 36 to the Charizard, which is just incredible. Goes for a Dragon Claw, is in fact able to take out the Ambipom, but does die to the Toxic, and that's actually another kill for Pyukumuku right there. That's actually 2 kills in the season for Pyukumuku, which is, it's weird to say. But let's go to the standings. I forgot which one I did the last time. I'm just going to go to the Moon Division, and we see that everyone, actually I'm going to say everyone, is 1-3. They have at least one win, which I'm very proud of. I don't like seeing people like way down at the bottom, like has not won a game. I hate saying that. I want to see people at least like win something and feel good about their season that they had a win. But right now, the Salt Lake Spindas, Philadelphia Star Armies, the Reading Rapidashes, and the San Francisco Royals are all 1-3. Congratulations to the Star Armies and the Royals getting their first win this week. All of them are just separated by differential. Definitely not out of the playoff race. They're literally only 1 win behind in the differential race. The Holland Heracross are the only 2-2 team in the Moon Conference that is out of the playoff currently. We do have the Charlotte Beedrills, Indianapolis Infernape, Anaheim Arcanines, and the Rocky Mountain Lycanrocs, all 2-2, just separated by differential. And the Dallas Dragons and the Uprising Flygons are both 4-0, just separated by 1 differential. And here's the kicker: they do fight next week. Next up, we have the Twente Tentacles, Miami Magikarps, and the New York Metagross, all 1-3, just separated by differential. Twente's first win came this week against Mandy the Turtle, which is incredible for me because she wasn't in my division. We have the Pittsburgh Reggie Steelers, Gainesville Gooders, Inglorious Glasgores, your Buffalo Buffalons, Kansas City Cardanas, and the Illinois Illusions. All of them are 2-2. Just 2 of them are out of the playoffs by only 2 differential points. And Edmonton Oilers did lose their first battle. of the season against the Reggie Steelers. He becomes 3-1, and Ninetales is the only 4-0 team in the Sun Conference. But let's go to the league leaders now, as we are seeing a lot more diversity between the offensive league leaders and the plus and minus. Let's go to the plus and minus first, as we see Excelgor's bottoming down at the top 10. That didn't really make sense. You know what I meant. Excuse me, as I hiccups. Tied with a Zoomerl with a kill death ratio of 4. So Mixed Slowbro is 4-0, so I'm technically considering that 4.49, because it's not really 4.5, as you see Halucha at 4.5 with the Dragons. We see Kirim and Neolego, both of them are 5-0 and 6-0 respectively. Mega Garchomp is at 7-1, Kirin Black is 8-1, Volcarona is 9-0, and Celesteela is at 12 kills and only 1 death. Next up, we have the offensive league leaders, where we have Mega Houndoom, Hitmonlee, and Neolego. Each have 6 kills. There's also other ones that have 6 kills, but have more deaths than these 3. Both Korakion and Garchomp have 7 kills, but one of them only has 1 death. Azumarill, Kirin Black each have 8 kills, but again, Kirin Black only has 1 death. Volcarona has 9 kills, 0 deaths, and Celesteela has 12 kills and only 1 death. Let's go to the defensive league leaders, where we have Klefki bottoming out the top 10 at 12 hits taken and 0 burn or poison damage. Tangrowth and Mega Steelix each have 13 hits taken, just more burn damage by Mega Steelix. Blissey, Hippowdon, and Porygon 2 each have 14 hits taken. Actually, now that I see this, Hippowdon should be at number 5, but I'm not going to change it right now. It's not that big of a deal. Both Gliscor and Type Null both have 15 hits taken, just one has died less. Alamola is 22, 24, and 3, as Umbreon is still in number 1 at 25 hits taken and 10 turns burned. We're going to go, last but not least, is the schedule, and this time I have it written down in front of me, as this should be the Illusions. I don't know what happened to that. That's weird. No, it's not. Was that supposed to be Magikarps? Yeah, it's supposed to be the Magikarps. There we go. First up, we have the Kartanas versus the Bouffalant, and I do believe that your Buffalo Bouffalants are going to pull out the win. I'm always going to cheer for us. Ninetales versus the Goodras. I am taking Ninetales in that battle. Magikarps versus Illusions. I don't see Magikarps breaking that wall. I'm going with the Illusions. Registeelers versus Gliscors. I think that Byron has picked up the first kill for Zeraora, and that's going to just continue. Registeelers all the way. Tentacruels versus Metagross. Tentacools versus Metagross. I do believe that Mike's going to pull out the next win, but I do hope that the Tentacools are able to pull out the victory yet again. Coilers versus Lycanrocs. I'm going to go with the Coilers. I think he's going to go his winning way. Royals versus Heracross. I got to go with my boy. I'm helping him out. Let's go, Cody. Dragons versus Flygons, and I'm never going to cheer against this Fairy Dragon Steel Core. I am going to go with the Flygons. Infernapes versus the Spindas, I'm going to go with the Infernapes. Beedrills versus Starmies, I'm going to go with the Beedrills. And Rapidashes versus the Arcanites. I'm going to guess the Arcanites in that battle. I am currently 20 and 13. Last week was not that great. But let's see where we go from the next week. Thank you guys for watching. Have a good one. Peace.